It's NK here once again. And you're back. Yes, yes. Welcome back to our book reading challenge day 14. Yay! What's up? What's up? What's up? How are you doing? How is everything with you? How's your family? How is work? How's school? How are you doing today? Yes, yes, yes. I'm super, super, super excited. It's day 14. I have never achieved this before. Like reading a book 14 days straight. Okay, okay, okay. Allow me to brag. Allow me to brag. Okay, okay, okay. So it's not just reading. Okay, I've learned a lot from this book. Yes, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And we're on part three, principle five. Okay, and this part three, okay, just to do a recap, but this part three is all about winning people to your own way of thinking. Okay, we've talked about arguments, the tips on giving a good argument. If you actually disagree with someone, and you want to give a good argument, they'll kind of get highlight some points about giving a good argument. Okay, yeah. So yeah, we've talked about argument. We've talked about beginning in a friendly way. We've talked about if you're wrong you need to admit it. Yeah, we've talked about a lot of things from this book. We've learned a lot of things from this book. This is our book in focus. Sorry, excuse me. This is our booking focus for the time being until we are done. So if you've got books you would like to recommend for us to read, please, please, please feel free to share in the comment section. Okay. Thank you, thank you. I just want to say congratulations to day 14. To everyone who have started this with us since day one. Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. Now, who remembers our slogan? Who remembers our slogan? A chapter a day keeps ignorance away. 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 Yay! Okay, so I think I need to make sure. All right, it's on. Okay, so yes, I've got my book, I've got my highlighter, I've got a pen close by. Okay, so in case if I want to make notes, if I want to, yeah, it's super, super important. Super, super important. Okay, so yeah, just to do a recap, a short, brief recap of what happened yesterday. I loved yesterday's lesson, like yesterday's principle. I super, super enjoyed, reading every word, every sentence, and I highlighted some points. So, the principle is all about, starting in a friendly way. So, like I told you, the part three is about how to win people to your own way of thinking, and the principle number four, the number four's title is a drop of honey. A drop of honey. So Dale Carnegie starts this, you know, he starts this principle with Lincoln's quote, one of Lincoln's quote, and it says, "A drop of honey attracts more flies than a gallon of gall. A drop of honey catches more flies than a gallon of gall." Okay, so that's just that's what the quote is. And if you are someone who is good in literature and English language, semantics, you'll be able to guess what that quote is about. So you'll be able to deduce the meaning out of it. So yeah, so a drop of honey. So this principle is about starting in a friendly way. Okay, perhaps you want to win someone's you want to win someone to your own way of thinking. Okay, you want to, for example, there's an example that Dale Carnegie illustrates here, where a tenant wanted his landlord to reduce the rent. He has observed that many of the other tenants have gone. They have gone to give their complaints. So your rent is too high. We don't have these facilities. We don't have that facilities. They've gone to complain and complain and complain. They've written letters. They've sent petitions. This, that, and nothing seems to move the man. Nothing seems to even shake the landlord. It doesn't move him. It doesn't shake him. He's not budged by it. Um, so this tenant in particular decided to do things differently. Yeah, he decided to do things differently. So he started, going to the landlord. He went to the landlord, tried to. I mean, he first of all he wrote a letter. Yeah, he wrote a letter to the landlord. He wrote a letter to the landlord, tried to convince him, you know, that okay, sorry, I'm getting distracted. So he wrote a letter to the landlord trying to convince him, you know and when he started when the landlord came to visit him, he didn't, become hostile or like, oh, I'm leaving your house. you know he started on a friendly note. He was like, okay, I have to leave your house. I have to leave this house. And like he started explaining all the things that are good with the house, all the things he would enjoy if he leaves, but that the thing is that he wasn't going to afford it. Yeah, like he wasn't going to afford the place. So he was friendly and everything. And you see, the landlord was like, wow, nobody has actually come to me, to say your house is good, your house has these advantages. Everyone comes to me and just they'll be hostile, they'll be, demanding, and all those things like that. They're not friendly, and all those things. So he was like, you're the first who actually acknowledge me with such respect, and in such humbleness, and all those things. So, and before you knew it, the landlord ended up, you know, reducing his rent without him even talking too much. All he said was, I just couldn't afford it. I love staying in this house, but just can't afford it anymore. And he said this in a polite way, in a friendly way, with a friendly tone. Yeah. So if you want to win people to your way of thinking, you have to, start in a friendly way. Even if you feel like you are right and they're wrong, start on a friendly note. Okay, begin in a friendly way. Yeah, so that's what the chapter, is all about. The principle is all about. Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to go off mic. I'll go off mic, and I'm gonna be reading principle for today. A chapter a day. Yeah, I'm reading our chapter for today. So I'll see you soon. I'll talk to you soon. If you see me quiet, just know that I'm reading and I'm allowing my phone to watch me, once again. All right. Okay, I'm back. All right, so this chapter is all about getting get the other person to say yes, yes immediately. Get the other person to say yes, yes immediately. And it actually, you know, it talks a lot. It talks a lot about, you know, trying to get the approval of someone. Okay, yeah, without having to argue, because remember our first principle. The first principle is the best way to the best way to have an argument is to avoid it. Okay. Yeah. So if someone comes to you trying to trigger you to argue with him or her, you need to avoid that argument. Okay. Just avoid it. And if you would like to argue, there are tips in this book that can help you to give a good argument. So, so now this principle in this chapter, I highlighted something here. It took me years and cost me countless thousands of dollars in lost business before I finally learned that it doesn't pay to argue, that it is much more profitable, much more interesting to look at things from the other person's viewpoint and try to get that person saying yes, yes. Okay, so if you want to try to convince someone, okay, you want to try to convince someone to agree with you, you shouldn't try to enforce it, try to impose you know it on the person. You have to ask questions, begin by asking questions that can bring up that admission of yes, yes, yes. Yeah. So just to cite an instance, there was a man who was trying to open a bank. He was trying to open a bank account. I'm sorry. He was trying to open a bank account, and there was a question he was refusing to answer. That if if perhaps he passes away, who would be his next of kin? Okay. So the bank manager, who was also a student of Dale Carnegie's course, was having troubles trying to make the man, he was quite elderly. He was trying to make him, convince him to answer the question, because the man found it strange. Like, why would you guys ask this sort of question? Are you guys, do you guys intend to take my money, or do you guys intend that I pass away? Are you praying I pass away? Something like that. So the bank manager asked him, like, okay, wouldn't you like to have the bank transfer? I mean, okay, let's start with this. He said, suppose you have money in this bank at your death. Wouldn't you like to have the bank transfer it to your next of kin who is entitled to it according to law? Then the man said, yes, of course. You see? So he asked a question that made him, agree, and say yes. Don't you think that it would be a good idea to give us the name of your next of kin, so that in the event of your death, we could carry out your wishes without error or delay? Again, the man said yes. And that was how, the man's attitude was softened, and then he was able to fill in the information. So you, you don't need to force, you don't need to be hostile, you don't need to argue. You can throw in questions that would make that person become agreeable to what you're proposing. Okay. Yeah. So that's what this principle was all about. Get the other person saying yes, yes, yes. Thread carefully, thread softly. Okay. Thread softly. Don't thread, don't make the whole discussion so aggressive and like that. So yeah. Forgive me today. I feel like my energy is so low today. But anyways, we're able to accomplish this, and thank you for doing this with me once again. So grateful to have you guys as my accountability partners in in inculcating this habit of book reading. God bless you, god bless you, god bless you. I'll see you tomorrow. I hope I will see you tomorrow. Okay, don't give up on me. Yeah, I won't give up on you. Not forget a chapter a day keeps ignorance away. Yes. So keep being strong, keep investing in yourself, in your mind, and keep believing in God. God is the ultimate. God is the ultimate. Yeah. So thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.